Horsey mills are one of my absolute favorite hybrid rudiments. They've got a ridiculous name and are a blast to play. Here's what these things sound like at a decent speed. And then a little slower. So before I get into the breakdown, I want to talk about what those are in terms of the rudiments that have been combined to make up this hybrid. First, Horsey mills are a combination of the Horsey and a flammed mill. Though really, for this rudiment, the flam has been shifted to the second partial of the beat, creating an offset flammed mill, which sounds like this. Though both of those are really just flammed variants of the reverse paradiddle, but I'll get into that more in the breakdown. So the Horsey itself is an alternating 4-note pattern with a cheese on the second partial and a regular diddle on the fourth. If you take out that flam, you get this very easy tap drag tap pattern. And if you isolate the starting hand, you get a triple stroke. Overlapped, those create the full rudiment. It's a very simple thing in theory. It's a little bit harder to play quickly. So I'm going to start with alternating 16ths, and I'm going to add those two elements one at a time and show you how I would build this. Here's the left, and the isolated right, and the overlap. So speed with this one really comes down to how fast you can play that triple stroke, and then that pattern. It takes a little bit of brain power to kind of overlap them in your head, but it's not too bad. It's one of the easier hybrids to play. As with everything else, you should always start on your non-dominant hand. I'm not going to go through that entire build again off my left, but this is a pretty easy rudiment to do off of your weak hand. So I'm going to cut this video here because I think it's going to get too long otherwise. So part 2 of this, we'll be talking more about the flammed mill side of this rudiment, because the Horsey itself doesn't alternate. The mill variant switches hands, which makes it much more complex to loop. All right, part 2 coming very soon.